Imagine this. You just spilled coffee on yourself in front of someone you really wanted to impress.
Does your inner critic immediately jump in to dominate your inner monologue? Ugh, why did I just do that?
Do you find yourself reliving the moment of embarrassment over and over? Do you feel regret or maybe easily getting into a shame spiral?
Do you struggle with forgiving yourself? Or maybe you avoid heavy emotions only to have them bubble up later, like yelling at the cashier at the grocery store, or maybe a little bit of road rage?
Yeah. And do you sometimes feel like you're the only person that feels this way? Are you nodding your head yes right now? Keep listening for a dose of relief.
Guess what? We all feel this way from time to time. It's totally normal. On this podcast, we reveal the messy bits about ourselves without judgment. It's a space where we can reflect, grow, and process our experiences.
And maybe we can even laugh about our actions, attitudes, and behaviors, where we can speak about our past and learn from it.
So, are you longing for a life with less worry and more joy? Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Relieve Regret podcast. My name is Victoria Muir, and I'm your co-host, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host,
Shadoe Ball.
And we're here to talk. How are you doing today, Shadoe?
Ooh, I am good. I would say I'm about an 8.5 out of 10. I've already taken out Gertie. I saw some of her friends this morning. There's like this new dog in our neighborhood. And like the owners are great. Both of the owners are great. But this dog, like she just brings me so much joy. Gertie brings me joy too. But every time I see her name's Nimni, Nimni outside, I'm just like, oh, Nimni, you're the best. So yeah, like an 8.5 out of 10. How about you?
Is she a little dog or a big
Oh,
dog?
she's like I mean, you haven't met Gertie in person, but she makes Gertie look like a big dog. Like
She's teeny
so
tiny.
little. And she's a like a Dachshund. She is a Dachshund, but her coloring is just so unique. Like it's like golden and then her tail's all stripy and yeah, she's anyway. And she's still like a puppy, so she's just like, like that puppy energy that just brings a smile to everyone's face. So
I love mini wiener dogs. They're my favorite. If I was
Mhm.
ever going to get a dog, it would be a mini wiener dog.
The other night there was like 4 of them outside at once, like 4 mini wiener dogs that were under a year old, and we were just like
Yeah, I'd be going
loving it.
crazy. I'd be going crazy. There's actually a post on my Instagram, but way far down, and there's a dog owner on the beach that owns 3 of them. And the first time I saw them walking on the boardwalk, I was like, it's a gang of mini wiener dogs. And I was like so excited. And the owner loved it too. And I like posted it. So cute. Because he just has like 3 mini wiener dogs and walks down the boardwalk. So great.
Yeah.
So great.
But how about you on like a scale of 1 to 10? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm gonna give myself a 7, I think.
Okay.
I'm a little annoyed today, but I'm gonna talk about that in my regret. But I mean, the sun's out. I feel seasonal affective disorder lifting. My mood and my spirits have been getting better, so that's great.
Awesome.
But I'm a little annoyed about something today, but I'm going to tell you about it in my regret. So 7 out of 10 is what I'll say. Do you have a cause for applause?
Yes. So a couple weeks ago when we recorded the previous episode, I believe my cause for applause was that I was getting better. Turns out that was a lie. I ended up getting so much worse last week that we didn't even record an episode last week, and now I'm back to it. I'm better. Just and actually better this time. So that feels really good. How about you?
Okay, my cause for applause is totally like I'm gonna say. I realize I have to stop saying old lady stuff because I'm only 42. So I'm going to say this is like a cause for applause that maybe women over 30, let's say, because we're not old. But I bought 2 things on temu. You know, temu, it's kind of like the cheaper version of Amazon, I guess. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to buy these 2 things and just see if they're actually good. You're gonna laugh so hard, but I'm so excited about them. I got a bunion corrector
Okay.
on my right foot. I'm developing a bunion, and it's totally genetic. My grandma had like really bad bunions and had bunion surgery, and like my sister has them. And like, so I got this like bunion corrector that's like awesome. It has like a little dial on it, and you put it on, and it slowly pulls your toe out. I'm very
Hmm.
excited about it. It totally is good quality product.
Totally.
It's totally a good quality product. I've only worn it like you wear it like an hour a day. So it's only been like 2 or 3
Okay.
days, but I can feel it like stretching and realigning my toe. And then I also got a neck stretcher.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember, maybe it was like 6 months ago or a year ago. There was this neck traction thing that was all over the internet, and it just looked like this foam kind of semicircle that you lie on.
Oh,
So it
okay.
fits under your neck. And it was like $70 or something, but it was designed by a physiotherapist. And I was like, I'm not paying $70 for it if it doesn't work.
Mm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
basically like a pillow that goes on your neck between the top, like between your shoulders and the base of your neck. So you're
Okay.
and it's like this certain shape, and it gives traction to your neck. And it's supposed to get rid of the hump at the back of your neck. You know, we all develop that
Mm.
hump from leaning over our computer.
Yeah, yeah.
There was one on there for like $7. I was like, great, I'm gonna get it. It's probably not gonna be as good a quality. It's exactly the same thing. I mean, I think I haven't seen
Mm.
the $70 one, but
Right.
I lie on it for like 10 minutes. My head's just like leaning back so it has traction. And then when I get up off of it, it's like crack, 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 crack down my neck.
Whoa.
It's crazy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so excited for, and this is really interesting because this has kind of been a theme in some of my programming this week is I talk about it all the time, but small and slow solutions. But what are the
Right.
like little tiny things that you can do in a day that takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute? You can always find a minute or 3 minutes
Mm-hmm.
or 10 minutes, right? And but you have to do them consistently, persistently, and repetitively for them to work. I'm so excited for my bunion corrector and my it's not a neck stretcher. I don't want to give people the vision that I'm trying to make my neck longer. I guess it's just like a neck traction thing to help get to loosen up my neck and that
Mm.
spine hump that we get like just above our shoulder blades, right? You know, that
Yeah.
hump. Yeah. And it feels good. So that's my cause for my bunion corrector and my neck stretcher, spoken like a true
Nice.
42-year-old woman.
Yeah, no, and I think if anything, it's not necessarily like old lady stuff. It's actually like to prevent like needing more extensive solutions when you're older because you're like dealing with them as a younger person,
Yeah, that's
hopefully.
exactly it, because I don't want to have to get bunion surgery because apparently it's really painful and you can't walk
Mm-hmm.
when you get it. And like I
Nope.
would really like to I don't want to get a hump back, which is basically what it's preventing. And we are the
Mm-hmm.
generation that's in front of the computer all the time, right? Like
Absolutely.
totally from bending over the computer. So to prevent that and loosen that up and prevent neck pain and shoulder pain and that hump back and keep my spine aligned and all those sort of things. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very excited about my two new little tools.
Nice. Well, and yeah, we'll see. Like, I think we'll have to get an update on how long they last, considering they were such good bargains. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I will let you know. We'll
awesome.
do a follow up on the neck stretcher and bunion corrector. Now, the only caveat I have to say is like once you start developing bunions, which I am, like it's not going to get rid of the bunion. It's just going to keep your toe aligned because the bunion's like calcium buildup on the knuckle on the foot,
Mm,
but it will help keep the toe aligned and that can prevent the calcium buildup, but it's not going to cure the calcium buildup that I have now. I'm being
oh, okay.
realistic here. Everybody, do your bunion research if you have a bunion. But
Okay.
but just realigning my toes and my neck will have effect on hips and spine and all those sorts of things too. So
Nice.
spoken like a the true health nerd that I am.
Yeah, that's great though. I mean, that's like the best part about getting older is that we don't have to like minimize the things that bring us joy.
Yeah. Yay, bunions.
But like yeah, you're like, oh, I'm a health nerd trying to almost like kind of like be like, oh, pivoting, like, but yeah, I say it joyfully, like I'm a health nerd.
Yeah, that is true. Like I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not, yeah.
Hmm.
That's totally it. I'm okay if I want to go to bed at 9 at night.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. It's great. It's great getting 9 hours of sleep a night, everyone.
No, it's also nice to fall asleep like intentionally versus like just being so exhausted that you can't even function anymore and you just fall into bed. I find like when you go to bed early, you can do, like your serums and your skincare and like do all that stuff and maybe throw a meditation on and like progressively relax your body. And like that's just such a nicer way to sleep. And so it's not just the time, it's like being able to have good sleep hygiene versus just do going and going and going until you crash and
Yeah.
then not getting a great night's sleep because of that.
Honestly, as you were saying that, I could literally just feel my breathing slow down and my shoulders drop thinking about
Mm.
it. Like just yeah, like a nice nighttime routine to bring yourself into
Mm.
like a relaxed state. And you said it so
Mhm.
well.
Oh, thanks. So I did that. Well, I did it last night, so that's why. Yeah, and you know me, I love staying up late. But like because it's so funny, like you get sick and you just get forced to slow down. So part of remaining feeling better is making sure I get a lot of really solid rest. So.
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Never underestimate the power of sleep, sunshine, and water.
Hmm.
Good causes for applauses. Very joyful today.
Yeah, for sure. So it's probably time that we jump into the regrets.
All right. I think it's my turn.
I think
I
so
think,
too.
yeah. All right.
Do you have any like preamble or do you just want to like go into it?
Well, this goes into my kind of being annoyed today.
Mm-hmm.
So this regret is it's kind of happening in real time, I guess, but not real time. But let's say that. Let's say that.
Okay, take it away.
I have something that I want to let go of in order to move forward. Or I'm also going to say maybe need to move through or need to take action on in order to move forward. I cannot believe that it's coming up to 2 years since I had my abdominal surgery. On April 1st, it'll be the 2 year mark. And just a quick revamp is I had fibroids. They were super huge, they were grapefruit sized. By the time we caught them, I had to have a full surgery with a full like 10, 11 centimeter incision. They couldn't be taken out any other way. There was another episode where I talk about my regret of not advocating for myself about the fibroids to get them taken out when they were smaller. That's not today's regret. Today's regret is about the scar. So I have a vertical scar. I think it's 11 or 12 centimeters. It's pretty big. It's right under my belly button and it goes down all the way down. I mean, I'm a little disappointed it's vertical. When they put me to sleep in the operating room, the plan was that it was going to be horizontal. And then I wake up and it's vertical. I guess they couldn't get the fibroid out, making a horizontal cut at the last minute because the fibroid had grown even more and there was more of them in there. So, okay. At first, I was a little upset about it, but what can I do? I'm healthy now. The fibroids are gone. I have this thing. The scar's going to heal great. It's great. The scar doesn't heal. It's been 2 years, and I can't believe it's been 2 years, and the scar still is causing me problems that are preventing me from living my life. And I've been avoiding it. So the scar healed keloid, and it's really keloid means that it's puffy, it's risen off the body, it's not flat, it spreads out and across. So where the original line was, instead of just a line, the scar is about 1.5 centimeters wide as well. And it's still itchy. It's so itchy. It feels like a yeast infection on my skin, like that amount of itchiness. Women, you know what I'm talking about, like so itchy. But the other problem is there's adhesions underneath it. And adhesions are the underneath of a scar when it doesn't heal properly, it gets sticky. And the scar is stuck to my abdominal wall. So I have limited movement. For example, I can only do minimal abdominal exercises, and I haven't been able to get my abs back to the strength that they were before, my core strength back to the strength that was before the surgery. And whenever I do try, my abs get so inflamed because they're stuck in this position underneath the scar that I had an experience in the summer where I did I tried to do rowing in a different position and I couldn't go to the bathroom for 24 hours after. Not number two, everybody. Like I couldn't pee for 24 hours after because my abs were so inflamed from trying to be in the front of the boat instead of the back of the boat, which is a different sitting position for me. And so I've kind of been putting it off because within the first 6 months, I went to see my doctor and he was like, yeah, it sucks. It happens sometimes. The scars heal in a keloid way. But it doesn't suck and it does happen, but there's things you can do. And again, it's like the same story. I don't know why I keep repeating this pattern, right? Like when I had the fibroids, they were like, yeah, it's normal. It happens to women. We'll just leave them when they were smaller. And then they grew super huge and I had to have this major surgery. Well, in doing my research now, there's things that they can do for scars. I can see a plastic surgeon. There's laser things that can happen. You can get hydrocortisone shots in them. I just want the scar to be flattened and I want the adhesions gone. But again, I listened to a doctor that told me, oh, you're just going to have to deal with it for the rest of your life. I do not have to deal with this for the rest of my life. I'm 42. I'm a fitness instructor. I'm a wellness person. I should be able to strengthen my abs. One of the things is that the hospital was supposed to give me a hydrocortisone shot. I don't know if it's cortisone or cortisol. I'm not sure. But when you have a really big scar, they're supposed to give you a shot right after the surgery to help it heal so that it doesn't heal keloid. And I didn't get it. Part of that's my fault because they asked me before the surgery, do you heal with keloid scars? And I was like, I don't know. I've never had a big scar before. And they're like, well, you're healthy, so you probably don't. And I was like, yeah, I probably don't. So I should have said, just give it to me anyway. So part of it's my fault. I'll take responsibility for that. So anyways, I can't believe it's been 2 years and I'm still having these issues where I can't be as healthy as I want to be in my core strength and my abdominal strength. And it's not like I can just push through it and do I'm just going to push through the pain or the stickiness and do a bunch of sit-ups and be able to do plank for a minute or longer again, because the consequence of pushing through it and ignoring it is that I literally can't go to the bathroom. And that is not healthy and not good, right? I guess my regret is kind of twofold. It's not advocating for myself in the beginning. I should have said, no, I still want to see someone, refer me to a plastic surgeon, refer me to someone to talk to about this. And my other regret is just procrastinating on it and thinking it's going to go away over time. Well, maybe it'll go away over time. Maybe it'll start to feel better over time. And it's now 2 years later and I still have this massive keloid scar. Like when I wear pants, like you can see the line of it because it's such a big bump through my pants. Like you can see it when I'm wearing like leggings or something. But it's not just about seeing it. I don't care if you can see it. It's about being functional. So the consequence of me continuing to behave in this way is it's just not going to get better. And I will say that I've already called my doctor today and made an appointment to see him to get a referral to a plastic surgeon. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. I mean, I did the best that I could at the time. I was so frustrated with how much healing I had to do, all of these health issues I was going through. And then after, I thought it's going to be great. I'm going to get the surgery I've been waiting for so long. And then I continue to have these health issues. But what I did to myself was toxic gratitude, which is I should be thankful that I had the surgery and I shouldn't be complaining about the scar. And so I ignored it, which is a form of toxic gratitude on myself. Just deal with it, Victoria. Everybody's helped you so much. Just deal with it. And I should just be grateful and I shouldn't care about what the scar looks like or how big it is or whatever. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that it's actually affecting my health still. And when you're itchy or in pain, your brain convinces you that that's normal. So you're just like, oh, okay. But like the itchiness it's imagine being itchy all the time, right under your belly button. Like you're just like, and you want to scratch it. Like it's now I think it's normal, but that's not normal. I could leave this for feedback, but I'm going to say it anyways, is when I had the fibroids years ago, I was talking to you, Shadoe, and this was when I was ignoring the fibroids. I didn't realize that they were like growing. I knew I had little small ones. And I remember I was talking to you, Shadoe, one day. We were having a meeting about something and I was like, I'm not feeling very well. I'm not going to stay on the call very long. I'm on the first day of my period. And like the first day of your period when your cramps are so bad and your legs go numb and you can't feel them, it's just the first day of my period. And you were like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And that is not normal, Victoria, that your legs go numb for the first day of your period. And I was like, oh, and you were the reason you saying that to me was you're like, oh, maybe I should get this checked out. Cause you're like, no, that's not normal. Right. And me being itchy and having a scar and still not being able to hold the plank for longer than 15 seconds, not normal. And it's not normal for me. And it's preventing me from feeling the best that I can about myself. And I can still advocate for my health and I'm not bothering people. And that's who I was then, but I'm starting to take some action now. So relieving myself of the regret around the behavior. I'm also relieving myself of the behavior. That's it.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. Do you want feedback today?
Yeah, you can give me some feedback. I always love your feedback.
Mm-hmm. I like that you talked both about that, you're like, it's not just about the look of it, it's also the function and like the fact that it's impeding your function. But I think it's okay to also be mad about the look of it.
Yeah, I'm mad
I
about
just
the
want
look
to
of
I just
it. It's
I just want to give
super
you that
ugly.
space. I want to give you like you don't need to like I don't think you like I really appreciate the idea that like to get it fixed it's because of function. But I don't want you to feel like you have to be embarrassed that you care about that other part of it. I feel like that's fine.
Okay, I'm giving myself permission because part of me is that it's not like a nice little white line that scars turn into. It's
Mm-hmm.
this big, like centimeter and a half wide purple bump. Parts of it look like a whitehead pimple that you want to pop, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I can cover it up by
mm-hmm.
wearing like a high-waisted bikini, but I can't wear a
Mm-hmm.
low-waisted bikini.
Right.
I also can't wear pants with zippers anymore
Mm-hmm.
because it's right on the zipper line. So I can't wear
Mm-hmm.
hard pants, which we've talked about
Yeah.
before. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't love hard pants anyways, but every once in a while you look better in a pair of pants. I can't
Mm-hmm.
wear jeans. I can't wear pants with a
Mm-hmm.
zipper. I can't wear pants that have anything along there because the zipper just irritates it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Thank you for giving me
yeah.
permission to say that it's ugly. It's ugly.
Yeah, because and I think it's also a toxic gratitude thing where we want to go like, well, I don't want to be upset about my scar. I know so many other people who have scars and I don't like, like and I could hear it coming through the regret. Like you like you kept talking about like, oh, it's not the look of it, it's the function of it or whatever. But I honestly think it's okay to be mad about both things. Especially because like I think you were sold the idea that it wouldn't be a problem, like you were finally going to get your fibroids out and like this was going to be, there was going to be a scar, but like not this kind of scar.
Yeah.
So I think that also kind of plays with our trust a little, right? Like it's hard to then trust again to say, okay, well, I want to get another surgery to have this fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. I feel better already if you saying give me permission for that. Because sometimes I get into this toxic gratitude place with myself of what the persona of me as a wellness
Mm-hmm.
advocate should be. And
Yeah.
there is no like persona you need to be of a wellness advocate. Just tell the truth. Yeah. Part of it was my fault for not saying, give me the hydrocortisol shot. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they should have just done it anyways.
Yeah. But again,
And
we
I was
want,
kind of, yeah, I was sold this thing that everything is going to be
mm-hmm.
okay. And then here's the way the healthcare system works. And again, I love my surgeon and I love my
Mm-hmm.
doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, they're stuck in these systems too. Is the surgeon actually doesn't care about the healing afterwards. They only care about what they fixed inside your body. It's not their
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to look after outside and anything further. Like after the surgery's done and they've discharged you and I had like a 3-month follow-up with him too. That's it. Like they don't have anything to do with the healing of the scar after the stitches are out. Like I had a
Mm-hmm.
3-month, I think I had a 6-week follow-up or something, and there was one little piece of the dissolvable stitches left, and he took it out and he was like, oh, it looks pretty good. And it hadn't started going keloid at that point, but it was still a little like it was still like risen. So I was like, oh, the rising is going to go down. But then it was after that
Mm-hmm.
6-week point that it started really spreading and changing and whatever. So Yeah.
What stands out to me too is like the persona piece of being a good patient.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
oh, I don't need that shot. No, just give me the bare minimal. I just need to get my fibroids out. Like, no, you're right. I am healthy. I don't need that shot because we
Yeah.
don't want to be like extra. We don't want like, but you're already there. Like, and it's so hard. It's so hard to do it for yourself and like be able to see it for other people. So,
Yeah. I also like
yeah.
have this fear of being labeled as a hypochondriac, and there's nothing wrong with
Hmm.
me.
Right.
And I think that goes back to when I developed my anxiety and I had my mental breakdown. I have a fear of, yeah, being labeled as like a whiner or a hypochondriac, because that was happening to me in the workplace as well. Like
Hmm.
I was accused of faking my mental breakdown to take advantage of the system. I was accused of faking my anxiety to take advantage of the system so I could get free time off work when I had my
Mm.
breakdown. We've talked about this before. I think we talked about it 2 episodes. I talk about it a lot, right?
Hmm.
It's a big T trauma in my life, but the way people treated me was, we don't believe you. We think you're faking the anxiety. People talked about it behind my back. So I think that translates into other areas of my life too, for sure. And I don't want my doctors to think, oh, I'm a hypochondriac and it's just psychosomatic whenever Victoria comes to us
Hmm.
with a problem.
Yeah.
I want to be a good patient.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you. I don't really have much else in terms of feedback other than I hope this does get solved for you like swiftly. But you're right. Like it's funny how long we've been friends because sometimes it feels like we just met, but like I remember you going for your surgery and how much prep that required and how much like follow-up care that required. And that you're right. Like the fact that it's already coming up on 2 years is just wild.
It's wild. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
wild to me too, because I keep in my mind it's like only been 6 months or 8 months. So I'm like, oh, it'll heal.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's not going to heal on its own at this point. It's been 2 years. I need intervention.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate your feedback, actually, Shadoe. I feel a lot better and giving myself permission to continue to advocate for myself, because I think that's the pattern I get in is I
Hmm.
advocate for myself and then I pull back on advocating for myself
Right.
because, oh, I advocated really hard, but now I don't want them to think I'm a hypochondriac because I'm continuing to advocate for myself.
Hmm.
And just I need to just continue to advocate for my health and my
Hmm.
health care, because nobody else is going to do it for me.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I also want to look good, and I'm allowed to want to look good.
Yeah. Yeah. You are.
Thank you. I appreciate you. That was really good feedback.
Good. Great. I'm glad. And is there just any other thing you want to say about this or
No,
just if
I'll
there's
keep you
anything
guys
unsaid?
posted. I'll keep you guys
Okay.
posted because I think it's important to share these kinds of stories too, to help other women feel empowered to advocate for themselves. And I've been really open about my fibroid journey because I kind of have a beef about it now that there's so many
Hmm.
women, having these surgeries when it could have been prevented if they just taken them out when they were smaller laparoscopically, or paid more, like
Hmm.
that if they hadn't been told it's normal, don't worry about it, it'll go away. Yeah, so I will continue to share, and thanks for listening, everyone.
Awesome. Great.
Are you ready to share yours?
Yes. Yeah, and I don't need any preamble. I'm just gonna jump right in.
Awesome.
So,
Let's do it.
all right. I have an experience I need to let go of to move forward. I regret not asking for help sooner regarding the things I should just know how to do. There are 3 examples of how this is holding me back, and today I am working on part 3. If you go back to our last episode, part 2 was keeping a tidy home, and part 1 was my job title. Also, thank you to everyone who's reached out about my job title. I've gotten such valuable feedback about that. So get ready for a new announcement in the spring. Anyway, so number 3, I've saved it for last because it's the most essential and it brings me the most shame. And number 3 is I regret not asking for help regarding things I should just know how to do. And for me, that's maintaining an exercise routine. I've shared how I regret using exercise as a punishment, and that's like a really old episode, the one titled Being Nicer to Myself. And I talked about how I was finally starting to see how exercise had other benefits, like improving my mental health. Also, when I've been in group programs, I really do enjoy the accountability. I also kind of enjoy having someone to hate. Like and I know that that's not healthy, but at least it's like getting me to do the healthy activity. And instead of it being self-hatred, it's like kind of like a little bit of like an annoyance at the group instructor. So the consequences I'm missing out on due to holding on to this regret is, although I know it's extremely important to stay fit, to continue to challenge yourself, I keep finding many reasons not to do it. And then the shame compounds on itself because when I do go get back out there, I'm not as effective as I once was, or I need a lot more supports than I thought I needed. I know I need to make room in my budget for a personal trainer. At this point, like I can't do this myself. I cannot motivate myself to do an exercise routine. And I've already picked out who I want to work with. So my cash flow isn't where it needs to be to support that. So what I what I'm still struggling with is like I'm almost putting the cash flow problem ahead of the exercise problem. I'm telling myself, okay, once I have enough money, I'll be able to hire a personal trainer and then I'll like get back into exercise. And I know that that's not the exact route. I know I have to take other steps before that. And this is why the shame is still so sticky and in this regret. And I'm not able to fully release it because I know, I rationally know, I feel it in my body that I know I need it. There's just something, there's like this barrier, like invisible. I don't know if it's invisible. I don't know what it is. I just can't quite get over this thing that I've placed in front of myself. So I'm relieved that I've said this out loud on the podcast. I'm frustrated that I can't commit to it on my own. I know that everyone needs help with different things in their life, but this is one area where I still feel like knowing that I should do it and knowing the consequences of not doing it should be enough to push me forward, but it just isn't. I don't really have a cute little bow to put on this regret like I've had in the past. This is also why I saved it for the last one of my three-part series because it I see like even talking about it, like I get this frog in my throat. Like I don't know what it is. I know part of it is that I used exercise as a punishment for so long in my life that now that I'm trying to be nicer to myself, I can't quite seem to churn that corner. It's like the only way I can motivate myself is through hating myself, and that's not sustainable. That's it.
Do you want feedback or did you just want to vent?
Like minimal feedback, maybe, because I don't want to like end up crying today.
Yeah, it's first of all, thank you for being so honest because so many people feel that way. And
Hmm.
social media makes it worse, right? Like you're looking at
Yeah.
people going, just do this one thing every day and you'll be 20 pounds lighter, right? Like
Hmm.
that's not how
Hmm.
it works. We struggle with our bodies. I'm a trainer, so I'm not going to go into trainer
Hmm.
mode. Okay. I
Sure.
don't want you to feel
Okay.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to do that
And
because
you're not the person I've picked out. I need that to be clear.
I couldn't train you.
Yeah, no, I know.
I love
Yeah.
you too much. Like that's the thing. Like sometimes there's a conflict of interest. Like if a family member
Hmm.
asked me to train them, I would say no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you're
for sure.
ultimately at that place in my life. So
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna do it. And plus I like doing the life coaching stuff a lot more than the
Yeah,
training stuff. And
for
I think
sure.
you also need a trainer that has like really good life coaching skills as well,
Hmm.
because this is not
Hmm.
just about, oh, you're gonna feel better as soon as you start moving your body, because
Yeah.
you have a relationship with fitness that needs to be
Hmm.
reframed.
Yeah.
Agree? Yes. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. My trainer hat, just for a second, is the top two reasons that people don't start working out or don't get help and think they can do it on their own is I don't have enough time and I don't have enough money.
Hmm.
So you're totally normal
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
but it's also a limiting belief.
Hmm.
So I was just wondering if you know, is your limiting belief around getting a trainer to help you, or is it just around being physically active, period?
The shame is more around like just being more fit because like I walk Gertie, but that's nothing. Like she's such a sniffer. Like we don't really get going at any kind of speed, so I know that that's not quite it. And also like when I was doing the group programs, like last year when I got my asthma re-diagnosis as an adult, like a lung doctor got me into like an 8-week program and I did like it. I really did enjoy it. I like we met twice a week, plus I had to do like a separate session on my own, and like I enjoy it. I do enjoy the act of doing it. And it's not that I don't have enough time. I know that I have enough time to do it myself. It's just there's something with my motivations behind it. And like again, because I'm so worried about falling back into that like self-hatred space, I think I'm really scared. I think that's it. So it's not about time or money. I think I'm just fearful. I'm scared that once I start working out again, I'm going to start treating myself like meanly.
So the connection is physical activity makes me hate myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't dread doing the physical activity, you dread what your inner monologue's going to be while you do it.
Yeah.
I'm also going to turn around on you what you just did to me.
Mm.
I'm wondering if there's a little bit of toxic gratitude there too, where you're saying, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy working out. I really enjoy moving my
Mm.
body. Like you're saying it a lot. Do you?
Like when I'm in it, yeah. Like when I'm
Okay.
actually in it, I do enjoy it. Um, it's like the after, it's always the after, and like, yeah.
What happens after? Is it like, oh, I hate that I'm sweating? I hate what's the
There's
after?
part of that. Like it's yeah, like I'll also be like I'll kind of start going over what I did and be like I start overthinking it. Like I'll start overthinking like, oh yeah, it's great that I did like 30 wall push-ups, but I still can't do a floor push-up. So it's not like those wall push-ups even count.
Yeah, it's not good enough. And
Hmm.
I also like I will blame that on social media and things too. I actually saw a really great post the other day that was like a woman doing a squat like on a stability ball holding weights and she was like I didn't
Hmm.
start here. And
Right.
then she showed herself doing a squat on a chair. Like we all have to start somewhere
Hmm.
and we just see these things out there like do this one move or do this and you'll build muscle
Hmm.
quickly and whatever. And I believe in small and slow solutions, everybody. That's why I use the word slow so much because they're small solutions, but we're given the
Hmm.
promise of a magic pill. And that
Right.
really fucks us up in our head, right? Small
Hmm.
and slow solutions. You can do the small thing and it builds. And who told you that walking the dog doesn't count?
My like Fitbit, it shows me that like even if I have like 3,000 steps, I have 0 active minutes because like I'm sauntering. I'm not really like
Yeah,
getting my
that's
heart
where
rate up.
these things become dangerous in some ways in
Hmm.
terms of like our mental health is any movement's better than no movement.
Hmm.
Any step is better than no step.
Hmm.
And we've had a lot of regrets on this podcast, you and I, about anything where I'm like,
Hmm.
I wish I'd started this sooner. I wish I'd
Yeah,
started
yeah.
working on my social media for my business sooner. I wish I'd started creating this sooner. I wish I'd started organizing sooner, right? Like it's a
Hmm.
pretty big regret that we're kind of fed a lot. And
Right.
the other side of the coin is, well, I'm starting now.
Hmm.
And I'm starting with small steps and small solutions. And I'm going to trust that they're going to build.
Hmm.
And that's hard to say to ourselves. And I think you're totally right. We need someone to help us.
Hmm.
We need an accountability coach. Everybody needs a coach. Like I honestly
Hmm.
feel that way.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm a wellness coach, but not just coach. Olympic athletes have coaches. You can be the best in the world at what you do, literally the
Hmm.
best in the world, and you still have a coach helping you. Even coaches need coaches. Even professional
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
athletes and Olympic athletes need coaches. So why would you think I should know how to do this on my own?
I think because I've done it. Like when you talk about like starting, like I've started so many times. Like I've started and my end goal was, a certain amount of pounds or my end goal was a certain amount of distance or like and I've hit those goals and then been like, "All right, great, done." You know what I mean? So
Mm.
it's weird to think that I have to start again. It's like I can't believe I have to do this again. Versus it just being like a lifelong like design a life that you want to live kind of but like, because even when I think about like hiring a trainer, it's like I'm going to give that person a goal that I want to hit, and then they're going to help me get there, and I'm going to pay them to help me get there. And then do I have to pay that person for the rest of my life? I hope not, but I know that I'm just going to hit that goal, stop paying them, and then, 3 years down the line, oh my God, now I have to start again. So, like, that's also where the shame is. It's like, I have done it on my own before. I've done it on my own. Literally, like, there's three separate times where I really committed, and then there's two times not as much. The motivation for the times, like those three specific times, the motivations, when I look at the motivations, weren't healthy motivations. So, as I worked through therapy and I worked on my brain and tried to like be nicer to myself, like I can't rely on those old motivations to get me back there. And it's become such a struggle to figure out, okay, well, then what is the motivation? And I'm judging the quality of the motivation.
This is where I don't like goals, especially
Mm-hmm.
goals around when we look at health. The first thing we go to, especially New Year's resolutions, is diet and
Mm-hmm.
fitness. There's a realm of health, and we have to hit all of them, right? Social health, intellectual
Mm-hmm.
health, emotional health, spiritual health, financial health. Like all of those things count. And if one of them's off skew, they're almost all off skew. This is where I don't like goals, because especially when it comes to diet and fitness, because it happens, it's a perpetual cycle. And I
Mm-hmm.
honestly believe that the diet industry and the fitness industry sets it up that way to continue to make
Right.
money, right? Do the
Mm-hmm.
12-week diet, you go off the diet, you gain the weight back, then you sign up and pay the money again to do the 12-week diet again.
Mm-hmm.
Do the
Mm-hmm.
12-week fitness program, you get results, and then you stop and you try to do it on your own. And maybe you lose 50% of your strength or your cardio. So you're like, oh, I got to do it again. But
Mm-hmm.
it's always like 12-week program, 1 month program, 1 month, what, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you already said it. The goal has to be about your life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't love the word goal. I I use the word intention a lot, but not even intention. It's like, how do I want to feel?
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I do feel that way, to stop and acknowledge that I'm feeling that way. Again, back down to those basic steps. How do you feel when you go for a walk with Gertie? It's not just about the walking and breaking a sweat. You're outside. I'm going to say
Mm-hmm.
breathing fresh air. I know you're in the middle of downtown Toronto, but like you're
Yeah, yeah,
outside
yeah.
breathing outside air. You see different
Mm-hmm.
things every time you go. You are moving your body. You're seeing the other dogs that make you super
Mm-hmm.
happy. That all affects your brain and all those things. How can you can I don't have the answer for you right now. I'm not, but I'm just saying like
Mm-hmm.
connecting into that idea that physical activity can be functional and also
Mm-hmm.
purposeful,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
forget the 12-week goal or the losing this amount of weight or whatever, because that is purposefully designed to make us continue buy into it. So what I would say when you're searching for a trainer, it sounds like you've already done some research, is someone
Mm-hmm.
that isn't going to be like, in 10 weeks I can help you lose 20 pounds. Someone that's really going to ask you those questions, ask those intentional questions, and has more certifications or more
Mm-hmm.
experience in just personal training,
Mm-hmm.
that will acknowledge that physical activity is about how can we integrate it into your life. And that doesn't mean that only walking is going to give you the results. Like, yes, we need to get
Mm-hmm.
healthier, but it's a whole program that's not a 12-week program. This is like adapting a lifelong program, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. So ask those kinds of questions, and the kind of trainers that will, for example, I want, this is why I run live classes. And when I train people, I'm like, you can come to class, we can train for, if I am training people like, or life coaching people, okay, let's do some life coaching for a few months. Okay, I think you're good for a while. You want to just come to classes for a while or take a break, come back to me when you need me. I will never pressure people, because life happens, but also I don't want them to be completely dependent on me as a trainer. I want them to learn how
Mm-hmm.
to do it on their own. And then use me when they need me for the motivation or revisit it, or depending on what's going on in your life. Or I do have some people that stay with me for like that I've been training for like 8 years because they have very busy lives and they know they won't do it on their own. I guess my message is just ask those questions. Can you help me flip my relationship with physical activity?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be just about the results that I get. It's going to be how I feel. Or when you're
Mm-hmm.
interviewing a trainer or finding one, get a good vibe sense. Like, I really like their energy. I'm going to get along with this person, and that's going to motivate me. I'm so proud of you for saying this out loud because it's motivation's the hardest thing, and there's no words for it. It is sticky. Like, I love that you always use it's so
Mm-hmm.
sticky. Like, it's so sticky, and like I also like hate saying you have to make a lifestyle change. Like, there's just no good words for it, but
Mm-hmm.
I always come back to, for me, small and slow solutions, and slow is the key word. There's no
Mm-hmm.
magic pill, but also not punishing ourselves that it wasn't good enough, right? Like, every small thing
Mm-hmm.
matters. Literally every small thing in the direction that you want to go matters. Part of healing is acknowledging that you're not there yet, but that you're taking
Mm-hmm.
action to get where you want to be. And it's never about the end goal. It's always about the journey. And that sounds so cliche and cheesy to
Mm-hmm.
say. And I feel cliche and
I
cheesy
know.
saying it, but
I know.
the older I get, or the more experience I have with like failure or goals or these sorts of things, is I realize I'm not interested in the end goal as much anymore. I'm interested in what's happening along the way. I'm not going to push you. I just want to thank you so much
Yeah.
because it's really hard. And I mean, even if you, the cash flow thing too is a thing that, we use as an excuse. So find someone that's not going to pressure you. And even if you start with one session a week or one session every 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
here's what I would say too for anybody out there that's looking for one: is find a trainer or a coach that's going to allow you the freedom to say that, and that will give you tools in between the sessions, that will say, okay, here's our session, but here's a program. Here's what you're going to do for the next 2 weeks. If you can only see me every 2 weeks, do you want to do it as
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday? And I'm going to give you the workouts to do on your own that are maybe 5 or 10 minute workouts. And then I see you and we do an hour workout, but somebody that's going to give you the resources so that you don't become dependent on them, that actually is trying to help you
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to integrate it into your life.
Mm-hmm.
If that does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And then I also have like a sneaky desire where I'm like maybe as a trainer you'd have some insight on
Yeah.
this. Like I kind of want someone who will let me hate them.
Oh my
Is
God.
that
No,
like
no, not at all. This is so funny. I was going to tell the story and then I stopped myself. So now I'm going to tell the
Yeah, yeah,
story.
yeah.
I have a couple clients that starts out that way, and I'm so good at, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, give it to me. I'm so good at it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
working with one
Mm-hmm.
right now and it's amazing. She's like, I'm dreading this. I'm like, great. I'm happy that you're dreading this. I'm like, bring it
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
say to them at the beginning, I'm like, bring it on. I can handle the 6-year-old version of you. You can say
Right.
whatever you want to me. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I can handle it as like, I'm like, I know human behavior and I can handle it, right? Because I'm more than a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also like,
Yeah.
it's fine, go for it,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
then at
yeah,
the
yeah.
end, and I'll usually make a joke about it. I'll be like, okay, is the 6-year-old version of you coming out right now? That's fine, keep
Mm-hmm.
going, give it to me, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end we make a joke about it, and they're always like, sorry I did that. I'm like, you don't have to be sorry for doing that. The point is that you
Mm-hmm.
still did the work and you still were like, I don't want to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to do this. Oh, you're making me do this. I'm like, yep, I'm making you do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
doing it
No, that's great.
joyfully, right? So yeah, you can
Mm-hmm.
totally find a trainer. The key for that is, though, some trainers take it too over the top and they're too much like drill sergeant, and then they kind of like
Mm.
hate you back or think that that motivates
Right.
you with the like pressure hating you back. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing. I'm just saying, like, yeah,
Right.
come on, give it to me. If you want to be 6-year-old and whiny today, that's fine. We're still gonna move.
Yeah.
We're still gonna do this, right? You can totally find a trainer that you can kind of like pretend to hate for the first while, because
Mm-hmm.
eventually you'll stop hating it, and
Yeah, for
eventually you'll
sure.
stop turning into the 6-year-old version of Shadoe when you do your workout sessions,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
8-year-old or 10-year-old or 16-year-old, whatever version of Shadoe it is. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that version that's like, I don't want to do it. That version that made
Yeah.
that post on our Instagram was like, Victoria told me that I have to show my face and I don't want to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Someone that can
Yeah.
be like, okay, that's cool that you don't want to do it, but we're going to do it anyways. And I love you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, because it's definitely not coming from like the real place. I mean, it's coming from a very real place, in the terms of like we want to be polite and like enjoy people around us. But yeah, there's a little bit where like I can't like, and it's terrible. I know that this is probably just like one of those things where I need to kind of do it step by step, but like if I can't hate myself into exercise, I need to hate
Yeah.
someone, and I don't know what that is. I just know that that's there. That's like partnered in my brain.
Well, because you're still in control. You know that you don't want to hate yourself, but you still like hate is like a symptom of fear or control.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's what you need to do to get started, but again, you need to have someone that's knowledgeable enough that will be able to be like to help guide you through getting rid of the hate eventually, because you don't want to make the association of hate with the physical activity because eventually you
Mm-hmm.
want it to become joyful.
Yeah. But the thing is, the connection's already there. So I'm almost like, I'm like, if someone could take that part of it on,
Yeah.
that might help me move through it
Yeah, exactly.
because the connection's already there. And again, I know it's not a good way to motivate myself. So, and weirdly, it's like, okay, well, then how do I motivate myself? And that's what that episode was way back in season 2 about like, I'm trying to be nicer to myself. And if I'm being nicer to myself, well, then myself doesn't want to exercise, but like that's also not being nice to my future self. So it becomes kind of a cyclical thing.
What can you habit stack it with that is another
Mm,
area on the wellness wheel?
right.
And that's why I'm saying any movement's better than no movement. Any participation's better than no participation. And we should be happy and proud of that. So it's so interesting. I've been getting a lot of feedback from my members lately, and it's been really great and lovely. And a
Mm-hmm.
few of them have said to me, ironically, on different occasions, is I love that you run the classes, your classes on Zoom live. And they're not all fitness classes, as you know. There's brain fitness, there
Mm-hmm.
is 15-minute fitness classes, there's meditation classes, all those things. But because if it was only video and a lot of people are like, here's the video library or here's all the videos on YouTube. So like I won't show up for the video. Or I'll say I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do the video and something will come up in my day and it'll be like, oh, I can do the video later. I can work out later. But because it's a live class, they feel accountable in several ways. They feel accountable to the other people on the call. They feel accountable to me and then they feel accountable themselves. And I've had quite a few of them say to me at the beginning, I felt that kind of pressure, like Victoria's going to notice if I don't come to class or other
Mm-hmm.
people are going to notice. But now they're just look forward to the fact that they're going to a live class, which is what will eventually
Mm-hmm.
happen with a trainer or with those sorts of things too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is um how do you have that accountability and joy? But for so what they're habit stacking, back to the habit stacking, so I went off on a tangent, is they're habit stacking physical activity with community or physical activity with nature. So if you look at the wellness wheel, right, we have our social health, our intellectual health, our environmental health, our relationship with the nature, our financial health, whatever it is. So can you habit stack physical activity with something else on the wellness wheel? So going
Mm-hmm.
for a walk with Gertie, you're combining physical activity, someone you love, your dog, social
Mm-hmm.
health, talking to other dog owners and dog and nature. There's nothing wrong with that. You're getting the
Mm-hmm.
physical activity in with the other pieces. And that's great. So you're combining them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe for you, you want a trainer that during the summer months, I mean, probably not for you because you don't like the heat, but for me, I'm like, I want someone that's going to train me outside in a park because I'm in a park,
Mm-hmm.
I'm outside, I have the sun shining on me, and I'm working out. Maybe for
Mm-hmm.
you, it's, combining it with something else. It's all
Mm-hmm.
valuable.
Yeah,
It's
for
hard to
sure.
tell ourselves it's all valuable. I get it. It's not going to happen
Mm-hmm.
just through this one conversation, but I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of you for saying it. I'm
Thank
proud of you
you.
for feeling shame about it and saying it out loud because, as
Mm-hmm.
with most of your regrets, Shadoe, so relatable. And I think so many of our listeners need to hear it so that they don't feel alone. You are not alone out there, listeners. You're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
We feel the same things. And sometimes it just helps to hear a story of someone else and you can be like, oh man, I feel that way too. And that's why we love
Hmm.
having guests too, because our guests are helping us feel that way and helping you out there feel that way too, because we're not alone. We're not alone. So
Hmm.
I want to thank you so much for that. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
No, I have a whole other tangent, but it's not really related. It's just a funny thing I've been thinking about. So,
Do you want to say it?
okay, it's like
Say it. You can't
does
do that
anyone,
and then not say it.
I know, does anyone else have appliances that lie to them? Is my first question. So, and I know that they do because I've seen memes about it. But my washing machine, it is on 1 minute for 7 minutes, 17 minutes. Like
Mm.
when it counts down and like I'll be like in the kitchen, I can see my washer when I'm in the kitchen and I'll be like, making something or doing something. And I'll be like, oh, I only have a minute left on the washer. I should just wait for that minute before I sit down, right? So that's when I'll do a couple of like quick like standing jumping jacks or like, like any of like little things that I can do while I wait for that minute. And sometimes that minute is like I'm saying like 8, 9, 10 minutes. And I'm like, you say 1 minute. Why like just tell me a different minute. Like I don't care. Like if you need more time, just tell us. Yeah, so that's been like one little like funny thing I've been noticing in my life is that my washing machine lies to me, but I use that lie to like habit stack a little
Yeah.
bit.
There you go. It's good. Also, like your Fitbit might be lying to you, and that's okay too. You might
Mm.
actually be getting active minutes and it's telling you you're not, right? Clients are that
Oh no,
perfect.
I can tell because like when I'm actually carrying Gertie, because like sometimes Gertie and I go on such long walks that like she doesn't want to walk back home. So I end up having to carry her home. And those minutes are very active. And I don't know if it's just like the 14-pound weight or the fact that like I don't have to stop every, you know, 30 seconds for her to get another sniff.
Mm, yeah.
So
I totally agree. Appliance is lying. And I totally
mhm.
do the same thing. I'm like, that's not a minute. And I'll be doing squats in the kitchen. See, you're not alone. I'm the
Yeah.
same. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
just use
yeah.
this. And again, any movement's better than no movement or any time you're doing there, if it's breathing or whatever, it
Hmm.
all counts, everybody. It all
Hmm.
count that I've done the airplane analogy here before, right? Like you're piloting an
Hmm.
airplane. And if you change the trajectory of your airplane just by 1 degree, it will end up somewhere completely different that's super far away from the original location you were going towards because it builds up over the flight of the airplane, right? That 1 degree.
Hmm.
So any movement's better than no movement, any change is better than no change. All of the small and slow solutions are the ones that impact us the most. Thank you, Shadoe. I appreciate you so
Thank
much.
you.
And I'm here to support you on your journey if you need me to. And I hope you share more with your journey as it comes along. And I want to thank you for the 3-part series and for connecting it. What a great
Hmm.
idea. Now I'm thinking about ways I can do like different series because it's good and it's motivated me to be like, what's the third part of the series that
Oh.
Shadow's going to talk about? What's the next part of this regret that Shadow's going to talk about? So I want to thank you for the 3-part series too. It's great.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. I started a regret with that sentence like I regret not asking for help sooner regarding things I should just know how to do. And I thought it was just going to be kind of like one thing or I'd be able to say one sentence about each thing. But then as I started writing it, it just became longer and longer and longer and I went, "Okay, wait a minute." Like the common thread is the idea that when something is a thing that I know I should just do, I I feel so much shame around asking for help on it. So then that's where it all kind of came together. I went, okay, this has to be like a series. I'm gonna have to break these up. But it was not my intent. It was like my intent was to write one regret about, giving up the should of it all. And it turned into three. So I would just suggest like don't try to come up with a 3-part series. It's just it's what suited this
Yeah.
regret, and it kind of organically came out that way.
Well, I want to thank you for it because it's great and it's kept us
Awesome.
on the
Thanks.
edge of our seat waiting for the next part of it. So it's good. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Should we do our 3 breaths?
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody, come on to the front edge of your seat if it is safe for you to do so. Put your feet flat on the floor if it is safe for you to do so. Just shrug your shoulders up and down. Release any tension in your neck or your shoulders. And if you want, you can place a hand on your heart. And close your eyes. Taking a big breath in through your nose. Big exhale out. Saying to yourself, may you be well. Big inhale in. Big exhale. May you be kind to yourself. And one last big inhale. And big exhale. May you be safe and at ease. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for supporting us. We appreciate you so much. Shadoe, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being you. And we'll catch you in the next one, everybody. Okay.
Thank you, Victoria.
Bye.
Okay, bye. This episode of Let's Relieve Regret was produced by Shadoe Ball and Victoria Mir-Bercia. We are an independent podcast supported by you, our listeners.
You can become a supporter by donating $3, $5, or even $8 per month at www.letsrelieveregretpodcast.buzzsprout.com and click on the support button. You can find the link in the show notes.
Our goal is to empower as many women as possible to overcome the shame and guilt that accompanies regret.
If this podcast helped you have an aha moment, help us spread the word. It's free for you, and it means the world to us.
Please follow us on Instagram at relieve.regret.
Tell 2 friends.
Or leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Find all this information and more in the show notes. Okay,
Bye.
bye.